You're stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic, inching along at a snail's pace. The sea of cars stretches out endlessly before you, their exhaust fumes forming a hazy smog that hangs heavy in the air. You tap your fingers impatiently on the steering wheel, your frustration mounting with each passing minute. But have you ever stopped to wonder, where do all these vehicles come from? The answer might surprise you. You see, it's always an endless conveyor belt, churning out car after car like a relentless mechanical beast that never tires. This is the reality in China, where automakers are producing vehicles at an unprecedented rate, flooding the market with a tsunami of metal and rubber. But with supply vastly outstripping demand, a massive glut of unsold cars has piled up like a traffic jam of epic proportions, clogging the arteries of the industry. The question beckons, how did we get here? And more importantly, what lies ahead for China's automobile industry as it searches for an escape route from this manufacturing gridlock that threatens to bring the whole system crashing down? To understand the current predicament, the colossal traffic jam of unsold cars that threatens to gridlock China's automotive industry, we need to rewind the clock and examine the nation's meteoric rise from a mere speck in the rearview mirror to an automotive powerhouse that eclipsed even the mightiest global leaders. Just a few years ago, in the waning years of the 20th century, China's streets were dominated not by the roar of engines and the gleam of chrome, but by a gentle hum of bicycles and the steady rhythm of pedestrian footfalls. Cars were a rare sight, luxury items reserved for the privileged few, as the vast majority of the population navigated the urban landscape under their own power, or aboard the humble two-wheeled steeds that have become ubiquitous. The country lagged far behind the rest of the industrialized world, its automotive industry a mere footnote on the global stage. While nations like the United States, Japan, and Germany were pumping out millions of vehicles each year, feeding an insatiable appetite for personal transportation, China remained mired in the past, its roadways dominated by human-powered conveniences that had changed little over centuries. But then, like a dormant volcano suddenly erupting, a perfect storm of factors converged to propel China's ascent into the automotive arena, igniting a revolution in the way the world's most populous nation moved. It was a seismic shift that would forever alter the landscape of the country's cities and the trajectory of its industrial might. Firstly, a rapidly growing middle class with increasing disposable incomes fueled demand for private vehicles. As incomes rose and aspirations soared, the allure of the automobile became irresistible, a symbol of status, freedom, and modernity. Secondly, the Chinese government offered attractive incentives and subsidies to bolster domestic production, determined to establish the country as a manufacturing juggernaut on the global stage. And thirdly, major international automakers flocked to set up manufacturing bases in China, drawn by its vast consumer market and lower labor costs, seeking to capitalize on the insatiable hunger for mobility. For years, this formula proved extraordinarily successful, fueling an automotive boom that transformed the landscape of entire cities. China's automobile production skyrocketed, turning the nation into the world's largest vehicle manufacturer by a wide margin. In 2022 alone, a staggering 27 million cars rolled off assembly lines across the country, eclipsing the combined output of the United States, Japan, and Germany, the traditional titans of the industry. But then, the road took an unexpected turn, a sharp hairpin bend that sent the industry careening towards a cliff. As the COVID-19 pandemic wreaked havoc on the global economy, consumer spending plummeted, and demand for new cars hit the brakes hard. Yet automakers failed to adjust their production levels accordingly, continuing to churn out vehicles at breakneck pace, blinded by overconfidence and a fear of losing market share in the cutthroat arena of automotive production. The result? A colossal inventory backlog that would make even the most seasoned traffic cop's head spin. Unsold vehicles began piling up at factories, ports, and dealerships, and any available outdoor space that could be converted into a makeshift parking lot. Aerial footage revealed surreal landscapes of seemingly endless rows of gleaming cars stretching as far as the eye could see. A metallic sea of unsold inventory glistening under the unforgiving sun. Today, estimates suggest that a mind-boggling 6 million unsold vehicles are clogging up storage facilities across China, a number that continues to grow by the day, like a rapidly expanding sinkhole threatening to swallow the entire industry whole. To put that into perspective, it's enough cars to stretch from Beijing to Los Angeles and back again twice. And with each passing month, the financial burden on automakers and their suppliers mounts, threatening to capsize the entire industry like a ship taking on too much water. Faced with this mountainous challenge, automakers have resorted to desperate measures to clear the glut, employing tactics that would make a used car salesman blush. Steep discounts and incentives have become the norm, with some brands offering discounts of up to 30% off the sticker price, a fire sale of epic proportions. Dealerships have resorted to gimmicks like offering free gas for life or throwing in luxury vacations to entice buyers, dangling irresistible carrots in front of consumers in a bid to move metal off the lots. But even these extreme measures have failed to clear the backlog substantially, like trying to empty an ocean with a bucket. The glut remains a stubborn behemoth that refuses to budge, mocking the efforts of an industry that once seemed unstoppable. In one particular eye-catching stunt, a dealership in the southern city of Guangzhou constructed a towering 6-story display of cars, stacking them precariously on top of each other like a real-life game of automotive Jenga. While the spectacle drew crowds of gawkers and made headlines around the world, it did little to actually move vehicles off the lot. The cars remained in their precarious positions, monuments to an industry teetering on the brink of collapse. Meanwhile, the Chinese government finds itself in a precarious position, caught between the proverbial rock and a hard place. On one hand, it has traditionally supported the auto industry as a pillar of economic growth and employment, viewing it as a source of national pride and a symbol of the country's manufacturing might. Millions of jobs and countless businesses depend on the continued health of the automotive sector, making it a linchpin of the economy. But on the other hand, the glut represents a colossal waste of resources, a ticking time bomb for the environment, and a threat to the stability of the financial system. The energy, raw materials, and labor poured into producing these unsold vehicles represents a staggering level of inefficiency and wastefulness at a time when sustainability and environmental consciousness are becoming increasingly paramount. Beijing has already taken steps to rein in overproduction, slashing subsidies for electric vehicles and tightening emission standards in an effort to curb the excesses of the industry. But more decisive action may be necessary to prevent the situation from spiraling further out of control, lest the glut metastasize into a full-blown crisis that could ripple through the broader economy. One potential solution could involve consolidating the fragmented Chinese auto industry, which currently boasts over 100 different brands jostling for market share in a brutally competitive arena. By trimming the herd and fostering larger, more efficient automakers through mergers and acquisitions, production could be better aligned with demand, eliminating the wasteful overcapacity that has led to the current quagmire. However, any such move would likely face fierce resistance from powerful vested interests and provincial governments desperate to protect local jobs and industries. The auto sector is a source of pride and employment for many regions, and consolidation could be seen as a threat to their economic lifeblood, setting the stage for a political battle of epic proportions. Another avenue could involve pivoting towards exports. While the domestic market is saturated, there's an entire world of untapped consumers hungry for affordable Chinese-made vehicles. However, this path is riddled with challenges, from meeting stringent safety and emission standards abroad to overcoming negative perceptions about Chinese brand quality. As the traffic jam of unsold cars continues to snarl China's automotive industry, the search for an escape route grows increasingly urgent. Will Beijing find a way to clear the congestion, Or will the glut spiral into a multi-billion-dollar parking lot of epic proportions? Only time will tell how this story unfolds. But one thing is certain, the road ahead promises to be a bumpy ride for China's automakers. What are your thoughts on China's automobile glut? How do you think the government and automakers should tackle this massive challenge? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this video informative and engaging, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.